Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Gamertag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best controller settings for Fortnite Battle Royale. If you guys going to enjoy the video or find it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. On the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. With that out of the way, let's hop right into today's video. Again, I mentioned I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best controller settings for Fortnite Battle Royale. As most of you guys know on my channel, this is a revolving weekly topic where every week I share with you guys my settings that I've been using, any changes I made, and so on and so forth. This way you guys can replicate them if you'd like, or if you want to optimize your own based around mine, you can feel free to do that as well. Nonetheless, we're going to be talking about sensitivity settings, moving over to miscellaneous, talking about brightness settings, believe it or not. Then we're going to talk about dead zone as well as keybinds, and that'll basically be it for the entire video. So let's go ahead and hop right into the controller sensitivity settings. So first of all, we're going to be talking about sensitivity X and Y. Both of these sensitivity settings refer to basically free aiming, essentially meaning when you're free aiming around with like a pickaxe or a weapon out, meaning when you're not aimed down sights with a weapon. So again, what this will affect is again free aim with like a pickaxe or just looking around, as well as this will affect your accuracy with shotguns as well as SMGs, as these weapons are typically not always aimed down sights while you're taking shots at, otherwise known as hip firing. So my X and Y sensitivity settings are both set to a 0.695 as of right now. I prefer to actually keep it around the 0.7 range, whether it dips a little bit into the 0.6s or if it goes a little bit higher to like a 0.75. Again, right now it's set to a 0.695, which is a little bit lower than what I typically keep it at. This setting is actually really important. Obviously we don't want to have it too high to the point where everything feels out of control. We also don't want to have it too low because again, we're using shotguns with this sensitivity setting a lot of the time. So if we're trying to do like a flick shot or just in general trying to aim on somebody, chances are if it is too low you won't be able to keep up with them, and also if it's too high you'll just overdo it. So definitely trying to find the perfect sweet spot and the perfect medium for this setting alone is very important. So that's why I prefer to keep it at around a 0.7. Next is the controller targeting sensitivity. I have mine at a 2.47, which is actually a lot lower than what I've been having it at for months upon months. I used to have it at like a 0.3, which I'm sure even that is actually a lot lower than the average player, especially a lot of you guys watching today's video. Probably have it a lot higher than what I have it at right now. Now, first of all, controller targeting sensitivity refers to basically when you're aimed down sights with a weapon. This will affect mainly ARs over any other weapon, as whenever you're shooting with this weapon, you're always aimed down sights. It'll also affect shotguns as well as SMGs because although sometimes you hip fire with those weapons, a lot of times you'll also aim down sights with those weapons. So this is all that'll affect. Again, ARs, shotguns, and SMGs. Again, it's at a 0.247, which I'm sure is a lot lower than almost everyone watching this video. And I believe this is actually a copy from either Faceway or Face Jarvis, I'm not entirely sure, but this is where I got this setting from. The reason I have it extremely low is because, to be honest, although a 0.3 and a 0.33 both were doing me very well, and I was very comfortable with them, it seems that a lot of time people are very comfortable with their targeting sensitivity. However, when they do decrease it, even if they feel like they don't need to, they'll typically see an automatic improvement in accuracy, and that's basically what I saw. I don't intend on going any lower than this setting, to be honest. If anything, I'll raise it as time goes on. But again, I keep it this low because it's helped me a lot with my overall accuracy. It's not too slow to the point I can't keep up with anybody, and it's by no means too fast to the point that I'm over aiming and missing a lot of my shots. This alone has helped me increase my accuracy a lot, and definitely would recommend you use this setting or anything even remotely close. Next is the controller scope sensitivity, and obviously by the name, this is going to affect any weapon that has a scope on it, which I believe as of right now is only going to be the scope revolver, sniper, and the proximity grenade launcher. So I have mine at a 0.365, which is again probably a lot lower than most of you guys watching today's video. In fact, I used to keep it at a 0.567, and again I think this is actually another copy off of Face Jarvis or Faceway. I use both of their settings for a few games and try to kind of perfect and take, some settings from Jarvis's, some from Faceway's, and kind of make it my own. So again, that's why I have mine at a 0.365. Same goes, it's not too low to the point I can't keep up, and nowhere near too high to the point that I'm over aiming. Scope sensitivity definitely isn't that important, as we're not always using scoped weapons, but still nonetheless, a 0.365 has done me justice, and I definitely would recommend it for a lot of you guys watching this. Next is going to be building sensitivity as well as controller edit mode sensitivity. I'm sure these are probably the most two popular sensitivity settings that I talked about in my videos. Now my building sensitivity is set to a 1.937, and to be honest, I actually probably am going to raise this in the next week. I've just been testing out different sensitivity settings, lowering them, raising them, seeing what's best for me, and just overall I've been kind of comfortable with a 1.937 for my building sensitivity. I'm also aware this is actually extremely high, almost maxed out at a 2.000, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this would like to raise it to, or at least near this level, being again at 1.937 or somewhere around this area. I don't recommend you raise it this high right off of the bat, especially if you're not even close to this setting to begin with. What I do recommend you do, in fact, is actually raise it in small increments. So if you have it at like a 1.4, once you're comfortable with that setting, then raise it to a 1.5. Once you're comfortable with that setting, maybe after 3 to 4 games, then raise it to a 1.6, then a 1.7, so on and so forth, and you'll eventually be up to a 1.9 or maybe even a 2, and literally probably like 10 to 15 games, which is not that much time at all. Next is the controller edit mode sensitivity. I have mine set to a 1.749, and although I actually am very comfortable with this setting, I'll probably end up lowering it just a little bit, maybe to like a 1.7 or even a 1.6. Now I can't really recommend an edit mode sensitivity for anyone to use, as edit mode sensitivity really kind of affects everyone in their own way, so you really need to find your own comfort zone. What I could recommend is maybe putting it at a 1.5 and increasing and decreasing until you think you found your sweet spot. Now if you like to optimize your sensitivity settings, basically what I recommend doing is putting them all like around what you have it at right now, and then increasing or decreasing it and seeing that if it improves your gameplay or makes it worse. Obviously use your observation to tweak it, again increasing or decreasing, and eventually you'll find your sweet spot. This is basically what I did to find my perfect sensitivity settings, and also what I recommend you all do. We'll now be moving on to miscellaneous settings, and I'm only going to go over the general miscellaneous settings that I have changed. So sprint by default I have on, which I strongly recommend you have on as well. Most pro players or overall really good players on controller Fortnite have this on. There's a couple reasons. One being is that we should always be sprinting in the game. There's never a time we should be jogging, to be honest. And then secondly, it frees up the left analog stick clicked in, otherwise known as L3, for a free button to be keybinded to. Next I have tap to search or interact on. I think this is off by default, however, this really doesn't help that much. It just makes it a lot easier, meaning when you're opening a chest or ammo box, instead of having to hold X or square for the entirety of the time it opens, you simply tap the button and then it'll open. So again, just makes it a lot easier on yourself. Next I have edit mode aim assist off, which also I believe is on by default. The reason being I have it off is just because the game kind of predicts what edit you're going to make, and there's no way of making an educated guess of what edit anyone's going to make. So having this off allows you to have full control over your edits and allows them to be a lot faster and smoother. And that's all for my miscellaneous settings that I have changed. Next is my brightness setting, and I have set to a 0.80. The default value is set to a 0.50, so I have it raised just slightly. Now if you're wondering why I have my brightness changed, which a lot of people usually don't have their brightness changed, is because in rooms that are like dark or even under trees that are like casting a shadow, it's kind of hard to see players that are using dark skins like the Black Knight or anything that has a dark outfit on. Obviously it's nowhere near impossible or really that difficult, but raising my brightness definitely has helped me quite a lot to kind of see these players more easily, and it definitely makes the player model stick out in dark areas. So yes, changing your brightness won't affect a ton of things in the game, but it just overall makes it slightly easier, so any help we can get, we should be taking in the game. So again, I have my brightness set to a 0.80, which the default is set to a 0.50. We'll now move on to my keybinds, what I'm sure a lot of you guys are looking forward to. I play on a custom Builder Pro, which I recommend everyone play on. I only have a couple changes made to my keybinds, however I strongly recommend them because they honestly are very useful. So the only changes I really have made is I have my Y button binded to edit, and then I have my left analog stick clicked in, binded to toggle pickaxe. Now the reason I have Y binded to edit is because I wanted an instant edit button. Instead of having B or circle for my edit, that just created so many complications where I try to edit, then it would bring up my blueprints and vice versa. So I figured Y would be a pretty decent change for edit, as it allows me to instantly make edits. And then of course that's the default button for toggle pickaxe, so I needed to find a replacement for that. And since we have sprint by default on, left analog stick or L3 is cleared up, so I was able to put toggle pickaxe on there. This is actually such a great keybind change for me, and I'm sure would definitely help you all out as well. Basically, your left thumb is already resting on the left analog stick, so basically it's very easy and instantaneous to change from pickaxe to anything in your inventory. And then also your fingers already rested around Y or B, especially if you do play on claw, so this definitely helps you as well. Now I do play on claw, but still nonetheless I have played using these keybinds on a regular kind of way of holding the controller, like most of you guys probably do, and I found these keybinds to work just as great. Next is my confirm button, which is set to B or circle, which as far as I know is actually the default button. We'll now move on to my dead zones. Now dead zones are actually extremely important contrary to popular belief. My left analog stick is set to a 0.20, which is the default, and my right analog stick is set to a 0.10. The reason I have my right analog stick set to a 0.10 for my dead zone is because, well, dead zones kind of affect basically the zone in which your analog stick takes effect. So I know that is so confusing to understand, and honestly it's even more confusing to explain. So what I recommend everyone do is lower all their dead zone settings, both of them, all the way down to a 0.05, which is the minimum. Go into a game or like a playground or creative, and you'll immediately see basically what dead zone affects. So basically lowering my right analog stick allows me to move a little bit faster with this setting, so look around faster, make edits faster, make builds faster, and also more importantly have my accuracy improved and aim a little bit faster. So that is why I have my dead zone settings the way they are, which I strongly recommend you guys use these dead zone settings. A lot of pro players have like a 0.05 for both, which honestly to me is an overkill. So basically I have it at a 0.10 for the right analog stick and a 0.20 for the left analog stick. And that's it for today's video, guys. We talked about sensitivity settings if you want to replicate my own, also how to optimize your own. We talked about miscellaneous settings. We then talked about the keybinds that I use as well as dead zones. If you guys like to use these settings, feel free to do so for yourself. They're definitely a good starting point, especially if you want to change them around a little bit. And also if you're interested in any other pro player settings, check out my channel as I've uploaded settings for Razor X, FaZe Sway, FaZe Jarvis, and more. Anyway, so that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. On the contrary, if you genuinely disliked today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike. And if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. Nonetheless, my name is InTheGamerTag. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.